We will see what it will be. I think this should be fine. Audio testing. Yep. All right. Hello to all of you. Oh, fuck. It's been a doozy of a week. Now time to get to my nice, relaxing, fucking insane rant of a live stream I do every week. Hello to Valor. Well, see, okay, so you say nice jacket, but this is a fucking just a medical shirt. I wanted to, so because of the whole, like, you know, pandemic and science and blah blah this year, I wanted to just start my New Year's stream with you know, a medical shirt. It's got like a stethoscope tube in it. You know, trust me, I know what I'm talking about. Look at my shirt. I'm very well adjusted. Alright, cool. Sharing this in a few places. And this will mostly be a discussion stream. I would have gotten more content in this week, but I had to deal with a bunch of bullshit. Not the least of which is a bunch of liars. So, there be that. And I can talk about that during the stream if people want. But I'm going to wait until some people get in here to discuss that. Tweet all, and then I like how fucking Twitter corrects Vlogstream. Like, yeah, it's not a word. Alright, so that and them. Where is person? Person is there. And then so that sharing it here and sharing it in my server and one other place. Yeah, there we go. And then I'm going to tag here in my server because I'm an asshole. Live here. +40 people just got a ping. Where is that? Okay, cool. All right. Ego says, nice fear you got there. It'd be a shame if somebody didn't buy into it. Yeah, well, you know, that would be fucking based if somebody did, because it'd mean that I won and I got into their heads, you see. I'm the most well-adjusted motherfucker on the planet. Jeremiah's New Year's resolution, become a doctor. No, because that's a really long fucking process. But, I have been complimented by many doctors on my level of medical knowledge. So, you know, I feel like doctors, you know, they're 100% useful. And I'm not saying they're not. But I feel like some of them want the industry to be as opaque as possible so that they can continue making large amounts of money and justify their expensive degree. You know, because, like, let's be real here. Otherwise, they wouldn't have jailed Aaron Schwartz, would they have? You know, fucking, oh, you publicized our papers. You made it easier for people who don't have money to, like, help people. How awful. Valor says, it's raining extremely hard here. It is not precipitating here, but I hope it starts to. I really do. Because that's what I like. I like a good, hard, snowing winter. Minty says, hello. Ego says, New Year's revolutions? Yes. Viva la ball dropping. Our balls will all drop again. Valor says, are you planning to get into psychology or anything? Because I just got into advanced psych and I'm extremely excited to start it on Monday. I mean, I'm not going to get into it any more than I already am by regularly reading psych research, but, like, if you count that, I kind of already am. So, I mean, but good. That's good. And it's also good that you're pursuing what you want to do and not what other people would recommend you do. Because I guarantee that a lot of people out there would be like, oh no, you're doing something you are interested in and it's a risky career choice? Oh no! Minty says, did Cass ban you? Yes. I guess I'll talk about that then, since you wanted to bring that up. Let me take a bite of my little tuna patty sandwich. So, basically, the whole start of this thing started off with a fucking violent drunk bigot. And he decided to be toxic to somebody who then broke up with him over that toxicity. She would regularly complain about him in my server. And said that, you know, she regretted ever talking to him. You know, he was like, you know, a problem in her life who wouldn't leave her alone. And then once I was in her server, which she tried to start, and invited me personally to, once that happened, I got into an argument with him because he was there. She had a server with this toxic, allegedly abusive ex. And so I got into multiple arguments with him, not the least of which was because I do what I normally do and post Sonic stuff in there, and people object to that because they're stupid pieces of shit. Really boils down to that. And also, like, generally speaking, like, got into arguments because I brought up anarchy, and got into arguments because I wouldn't back down when he kept on bringing up this court case he was allegedly involved in. And I didn't even know that he was involved in it. Like, I didn't fucking care, because that doesn't change my opinion. And he kept on trying to throw that around. And he was saying, like, oh, I was landmark. I've changed legislation. What have you done? Like a big fucking dick measuring contest. Like the toxic piece of shit he is. Well, I continually got into arguments with this guy. Continually got nothing but insults, no matter how reasonable I was, until I was muted. And he wasn't. I was muted, so I had to, you know, talk in my server. Where I was also posting these things because it's fucking hilarious that somebody had their own toxic ex in a server and was siding with him. What? Like, don't do that. Like, if you're gonna talk shit about him, then fucking leave him, motherfucker. So I fucking kept going, until I was banned. And routinely insulted by this person, might I add. And so he kept on telling me to debate him. Debate me. On what? He would not say. But he had this persistence of saying, debate me, you're too much of a pussy to... But he wouldn't give me a subject to debate him on. because he's a stupid piece of shit and he doesn't know how debate works. So I kept on saying, well, if you get a subject and a moderator and rules, I'll see about maybe doing this debate. But he wouldn't. He wouldn't, and he wouldn't, and he wouldn't, until eventually he got Cass to agree to be a moderator. Cass Warfox, who I have repeatedly helped because he allegedly opposes pedophiles. And I say allegedly because the more I've interacted with him in his space, the more I've realized that he doesn't fucking give a shit about the actual issue. He just likes to have a place where he and his friends can be bigoted. Because challenging this person's bigotry has gotten me repeatedly dogpiled. Not only this person, who turned out to be a violent drunk who threatened people with guns if they didn't do what he wanted, but literally fucking 5 or 6 other server members. And so I fucking went against these people because obviously, and one of the things I asked in the public channel, hey, Cass, you're gonna moderate this, but what's the subject? Do you have one? Because this guy didn't. This guy didn't have a fucking subject. You don't have a fucking subject. All I'm hearing is that you're gonna moderate this, and I heard it from him, not you. What pussy-ass bullshit is that? So, let me be extremely real here for a second and say that is some pussy-ass bullshit. It pissed me off, and I went to his channel and confronted him directly in front of other people. This got me dogpiled, because his server doesn't like it when Daddy is questioned, or when anybody there is questioned. So basically, this kept going for a bit until I was put in gay baby jail recently, because I had the audacity to share some screenshots when some people were lying about a server I moderate. So I was doing some, basic context provision in public, and saying to the people who were, talking about this subject, hey, do you have any proof of these things you're saying about us? And lo and behold, they fucking didn't. So, lo and behold, they fucking didn't, and I got dogpiled, called a bunch of slurs, until my name got changed to Insanity is Re, and I got put in gay baby jail, which is one of these circle jerk chambers, where basically, when one of these servers that's really more of a cult of personality than it is helping anyone or doing anything interesting, doesn't like somebody, they will put them in this isolated room so that they can be interrogated and brought to heel. I didn't accept this. I repeatedly said that, I don't have image perms in here, so I'm not gonna post in here about things that I have image proof of. And I'm also going to, post on Twitter, because people should see what this place is before they potentially join. And so ever since then, it's just been a cycle of me posting things from that channel where, proof of this person being a violent drunk, proof of many of these people being bigots, proof of these people just hurling slurs and insults at me because they can't disprove me or prove that I am this evil person that they want me to be. That sort of thing kept on coming out. And so I kept on putting the screenshots on Twitter, and they kept on getting more and more angry about it, and eventually started to mass spam ping me for a couple days, until eventually I got banned today. After telling these people to their face in public, in a place they can't control, and censor me in, and delete my messages in, and change my name in, Twitter, all the things that I would have told them there if it was actually a free speech place. But they're not a free speech place, they're just a bigot den. It's a stupid piece of shit move, but that's exactly what a lot of those people are. So, you know, barks like a dog, it's a dog. So that's what happened there until I eventually got banned. Because I challenged Cass to a one-on-one debate. This is another thing. They kept on, well, I mean, conversation anyway. So he could really tell me why he thinks that this is an acceptable way for the anti-community to be. Because, like, this is going to give all of the pedos all the ammo they need. All they need to do is say, this is how these people are. Like, they're just bigots. They don't actually have logical responses when people logically criticize them. That's not how it should be. People should give enough of a shit that they're willing to go against their own when their own fucks up. Even if that person is at the top of whatever hierarchy they're in. And if they won't, they don't give a fucking shit. But they kept on demanding that I subject myself to a voice chat. About the same issue with the same people who were already dogpiling me. Like, yeah, let me just get dogpiled in a voice chat now, too. Just like you do with everyone you talk to in your voice chats. Dogpiled. That's all these people do. It's like a catharsis zone. It's not actually helping kids. So, this is all after I, like, repeatedly helped the person who runs this place. Mind you, I repeatedly helped this guy, and even recently, in a group message I started years ago, I got a message from him saying we need some evidence on this guy. And I had a lot of evidence on this guy that I had either personally compiled or gotten given by other people. And so I sent him this information, and he regularly referenced Jeremiah Harding in his recent stream. Cass Warfox regularly referenced it and regularly said, well, just go and watch his videos, which is a good idea. You should watch my videos and like, share, and subscribe to them. But basically, that's what happened. He decided that even though I had been helping him for years and years and years, that wasn't enough to not treat me like shit and to not have his server treat me like shit. So, there you have it. That's what happened, and because I resisted and didn't fall in line like a good little boyo, I got banned. Simple as that. All started because I said somebody's toxic ex was toxic. Well, I'm glad that y'all finally figured that out. Because now there's a fucking Google Doc on him that's consistently being updated with more ways he's drunk, violent, abusive, toxic, narcissistic. And this person is still in their server. So, yeah, that's what happened there. There's, like, I guess a mini vlog on the situation, because somebody... Valor says, yeah, my mom doesn't want me to do psychology. Well, that's unfortunate. That's real unfortunate. Because, it's a field where people who give a shit and don't just want to make money off of pushing pills on people are limited and rare. I hope you pursue that anyway, because it seems like you actually give a shit about other people. So, my ex is abusive. Invites ex to server. Anyways, yep. Oh no, you're fighting with my ex I repeatedly called abusive. Ban him. Oh no, he's in this other server fighting with my ex called abusive. I'm gonna start a smear campaign. Say that he's working directly with fucking pedophiles and zoophiles. Man, this chick. I'm just not mentioning her because, there's a possibility, an absolute loose possibility she'll break away from all this. And it's not like she ran this other place. This other place is just a personality cult. But, like, that's exactly it. This chick needs to wise up, yo. And she literally apologized to me for everything, and then went back on that fucking immediately when it came time to smear me. So, it seems like the apology was designed to get back in my good graces for the purposes of information collection. It seems like. So, Minty says, apparently Azure is planning to sue the person who made the document for misinformation. Yeah, ain't he though? But he's still in that fucking server. Ah, it's so hilarious. These people, they don't give a shit about ethics. They don't give a shit about reason. They don't even give a shit about their own fucking people, because they'll have a violent, narcissistic, toxic, abusive piece of lawsuiting shit in their server, but they ban me. I'm the eternal bad guy. That's why I have that in my Twitter, in my my Twitter bio, and I think my Discord bio has like everyone's villain. That's it. I consistently get banned from places where actual bad people get to stay. So I'll be the villain. I don't fucking care. I under, intense scrutiny and criticism of the previous year, 2022, I have decided to become worse. Valor says, of course I do give a shit, yet others claim I don't. I got dogpiled and my ex-friend got people to call me a careless beast. What? That's weird. Careless beast is an interesting thing too. Like, what the fuck does that mean? Beast. You go in beast mode on them? I think that they don't be ballin', and that's the real problem. Alright. So, that's the whole situation there. I got notifications on Twitter. Let's see if one of them is fucking complaining. Nope. Nobody's complaining. Like, they got a whole GC of their own friends to start testing me to see if I cared. What? How do you measure care? Is it like a special hole that you plug in a thermometer and it says, yeah, this guy cares? I think caring is demonstrated by repeated actions and like track records and shit. You can't just test that in a vacuum. What the fuck? That's toxic as shit. And check the Discord. Yeah, so basically that's what happened. That's what happened there. And I'm 100% okay with these people not liking me, because if they only like people who fall in line, then them disliking me is just a badge of honor in terms of my rebellion. So, fuck them. It's just another toxic community of alleged antis. It's the same kind of shit with the Jane situation, where the same group message, by the way, somebody invites me to the fucking server, and ever since, I sort of found out that she was scamming people out of money for transphobia, and like grooming minors, and working with racists and liars who regularly dogpile minors and groom them as well, and just a general pit of degeneracy. So many people hiding in these circles are exactly like that. What's your take on Xi relaxing zero COVID policies? I mean, that was going to happen once they got their control measures. Like, it's exactly the same as what's happening here. It's like, so they start out with mass control, and they get like ratcheted back little bits to where people are like, hey, we got a small amount of our freedom back, but it's still like less freedom than they started with. And then it's massive ramp up, and then like a little bit more freedom from the massive ramp up, but still less than they started with. And then it's a massive ramp up, and then it's just a new set point until it's just sky high. It's a ratcheting mechanism. Fucking, it's insane to me that people don't recognize this happening, but it's there, you know, and it's happening in America too. Like, oh, look, Florida gave us better vax and mask policies because Daddy DeSantis, is over here being the example of how to fight the libs, and it's like, okay, you're he's an example of how to fight the libs, but he's giving the cops so much money. And he says that if they don't crack down on protests, even fucking yours, that they will be fired and lose funding and shit. Good for you, DeSantis. You're totally not a fascist boot. So, I mean, it's the same thing. It's the same thing in China. It's the same thing everywhere. As above, so below. That they relax policies, but they don't eliminate them. They don't get rid of the big government that they got during the time when they built it. They're not saying, hey, you can be free now. We can have zero government policy. No, they say they say we're relaxing zero COVID policies. Maybe we won't weld you in your apartment. But you can still have your phone turn red and your fucking finances depleted all in one fell swoop because that's how we run. So that's my impression of it. And also, of course, they've got to get their factory workers back to work and stop killing them in apartment fires that are easily preventable. Just little things like that. So that's my take, JD. I hope that works for you. And also, of course, my hyper caffeinated post workout, like probably serum testosterone levels are way too high right now. Fucking energy levels. Also, Jeremiah, I'm in personal finance now. Do you think you'll need any advice from it? I mean, if you want to post in that business channel we have the things you're learning, that would probably be better than just giving me advice. That's what I would recommend. Fellow Voluntarius says, LOL. Hello. Also, I just spat a crumb onto my wrist, so that's good. I'm the best streamer on the planet. Minty says, I remember during the Chinese protests, someone posted a video claiming to be police brutality from Shanghai, but it was actually in Tacoma. Yeah. And that's very common because, like, people just spread something, and it doesn't matter whether it's true or not. I've experienced this firsthand and so many fucking times. How many days a week do you lift weights? I don't lift weights. I lift body weight, and I try to do it, like, at least 6 days a week. So my whether I'm doing arms, whether I'm doing, like, body weight legs with the ankle weights, you know, I use a suspension trainer and a resistance trainer. They're over there right now, and I don't want to get up, but if you look at previous videos, you can see it. That's my general vibe. I do that because I would rather do that than you know, go get a bunch of free weights that I can't afford, or, you know, the Bowflex things or that cube thing, which would also be money. The whole setup I have was about, like, from me, was about $60 for a suspension trainer, a resistance trainer, an ab roller, 2 ankle weights, and a Gata mace that was given to me by a viewer and longtime supporter and friend, because he wants to see me get swole too. I guess the closest thing to lifting weights you could say is that Gata mace, because I swing that around quite a bit. Also, what's that poster next to the Sonic one? That's Heath Ledger Joker. Heath Ledger Joker. It's hard to say that with this in my mouth. I like him because he ended the Fed and was the actual savior of Gotham. People don't recognize that political point, but, like, basically, if he hadn't have burned that pile of money, the same banksters that ran everything before would kept being able to run things. So as far as I'm concerned, him burning that big pile of money was better for Gotham than anything that the Batman did in those movies. Now, I don't like him as a person. Taking all those innocent lives is certainly not my speed, but I understand his choice in the end. That's my stance, and so I picked that, also because it pisses people off when I have those two next to each other. Those couldn't be further and separate from character, blah blah. I don't care. Minty, I don't understand why we are still sending weapons and money to Ukraine. We could use the money for domestic problems, but Joe decides to send it to Zelensky. I mean, yeah, so, but that's the thing. Ukraine is heavily in bed with America. Like, America was using them as basically a big data farm for a while there. Ukrainian data miners helped them program their AI cameras and had literal access to your Ring doorbell. Whoever has an Amazon Ring doorbell or one of those things, they now are partially like Ukrainian programmed and partially Ukrainian accessed. All they need is your email, and they can see into the street from where your devices are connected. And in doing so, and in Amazon's partnership with law enforcement, basically what they've done is created a surveillance grid that was originally programmed by a bunch of Ukrainians who got access to like sort of God mode style security feeds of like most of America. So they probably got some information, and they're probably using that as leverage. But at the very least, Hunter Biden and Burisma, let's have this natural gas like bastard alliance. Fucking they need to sell liquefied natural gas to Europe so that Russia isn't doing it. So Russia totally blew up their pipeline, even though the West is now even admitting that there's no way that happened. And Ukraine still had Burisma, which was a Biden-linked fucking natural gas company. I wonder why Biden would have, at the beginning of the year, said that they were going to do something about that pipeline. And I wonder why they would immediately blame Russia with no evidence. Couldn't be that this was a false flag. Couldn't be. It's not that. YouTube. I would never spread a false and malicious conspiracy theory like the U.S. destroyed Nord Stream pipeline. I would never do that because that's totally untrue, fabricated nonsense. I'm a good boy. So also a lot of the money from my mom's paycheck is going to Ukraine. That's unfortunate. Why? Is she donating? Because that's not good. Minty says, true. They used Ukraine as a base for their operations. And yeah, so, and also they, for years had the CIA training Ukrainians. Like, for years and years. Since, 2014, the CIA has been working with them directly. So, Valor says, no, she just told me it is. Well, maybe she's just talking about taxes. Wouldn't surprise me, because she listens to conservative radio, right? If I remember correctly. I might not remember correctly, so let me know. But yeah, the whole Ukraine situation is I don't like Russia. Russia is run by a totalitarian dictator. He's a fascist who regularly silences political opposition, who lives in a palace while claiming to be a man of the people, running, an ex-communist empire, still trying to maintain that of the people veneer of the previous empire. And he regularly commits atrocities. But so does the West. Everything that Putin is, the West is as well. So, I'm just not taking a side here. Except the anarchists. If you're actually trying to work against all these governments so that their perpetual deadly dick measuring contests stop, then more power to you. Nathan Klein says sometimes there is no good team. Yeah, that's exactly the point I'm making here. It's garbage. It's garbage all the way around. Glenn Clark says, all the world's a stage. All. Hello. So, if this is your first vlog stream, which I think it might be, I rant once a week. So, and right now I'm eating post-workout tuna. That's what these sandwiches are. But yeah, like, not only that, but like, Disney literally gave people Nazis medals. One of the Nazis was using a Ukrainian flag to cover up his Nazi tattoo. Using a Nazi tattoo right here on his elbow, using a Ukrainian flag to cover it up. And Jon Stewart hands him a medal on behalf of Disney, ESPN, and the literal U.S. Defense Department, saying he's the heart of Ukraine. I mean, yeah, but that's not a good thing. And he's wearing an Azov shirt, who at the time hadn't even changed their symbol to not involve a sun and rad and wool sangle. Like, these people are straight up fucking Nazis, and the U.S. government is supporting them hand over fist, and the mega corporations have their back and have their dick in their ass. That's what foreign policy is right now. It's don't be mean to our Nazi allies. And I'm not saying all of them are, but enough of them are that it should be a fucking problem. I was making this point. Like, 300 Oath Keepers were enough to consider the U.S. to have, like, a right-wing, like, extremism problem. 300 Oath Keepers at the Capitol, allegedly. Who are ex-feds, by the way. But thousands of Ukrainian Nazis aren't evidence that Ukraine has a similar problem? I don't fucking think so. Nathan Klein says, so they are on par with NASA. More than that, because people talk rightly, and I'm not saying you're wrong. People rightly talk about Operation Paperclip and the Nazis and NASA Nazis. But, at the same time, that's a tip of the iceberg situation. It was a few Holocaust-enabling psychopaths in NASA who got to be there because the U.S. could exploit their talent, but it was many more in the Bundeswehr, which was just NATO's Nazi wing. Bundeswehr was evil. It was NATO's Nazi laundering program where they literally hired Nazis to be commanders of NATO and literally had, like, Nazis working in NATO who used to work for the Wehrmacht. The Bundeswehr is NATO incarnate. NATO started out as Nazis as well. And the CIA had the Gehlen org, which was Reinhard Gehlen. And he had his, like, ex-Nazi spy network, which used to spy on Russia. And they're like, hey, could you spy on Russia for us too? And we'll help. We'll give you amnesty. We'll help you get your guys out, ratline them away. And we'll totally pretend that we had nothing to do with that. And aw shucks, gee, they just left. And so CIA and NATO both have at their roots, at their very foundation, fucking Nazism. And, might I add, the press got Bush Nazi money, where he literally helped them with Union Bancorp and literally helped them with ThyssenKrupp get the steel necessary to run the concentration camps. He and literally later was sued by Holocaust survivor victims. The Bush family was literally later sued, but were they held at Nuremberg as Nazi enablers? Were they held at Nuremberg for, like, being the reason that the Nazis got to do what they did? Fuck no, they weren't. So, Nuremberg tried some Germans. They gave everybody their catharsis. But did they stop IBM? Did they stop AP? Did they stop, Volkswagen, Bayer? Did they stop Coca-Cola? Did they stop any of this shit? No. Because we're not going to stop the Americans who, like, helped the Nazis. We're just gonna stop a few Nazis, help many Nazis escape, rise a lot of Nazis to power, and then say, "Oh shucks, damn it, we have a fucking far-right problem in this fucking country. I wonder where that came from. It couldn't be the deep state." Valor says, "What do you think about my school making me write a 400-word essay on just a blurry image of people in a mall?" Send me that image. That's interesting. But like, oh, also switch to live chat. Yeah, I forgot to do that. Shit. There's probably a lot of messages I missed. Let me go scroll back and check. Okay. Is it true that China's dropped their zero COVID measures? So I think I pretty much addressed that. Yeah, they relaxed them a little. Sounds like she's got Stockholm syndrome. Would not surprise me, because that's what happens when you keep letting an abusive ex back into your life. The anti-community is full of self-righteous assholes. They think that just because they go after pedos and zoos, that places them above criticism. Yep, that's true. That's just true. Let me keep on scrolling. Cringiest person I met in this shit was Iris Crane or whatever their name was. Yeah. Like, they literally came to the defense of the people lying about me. The people actively lying about me. And she didn't ask. She didn't care. It didn't matter to her that these people didn't have any proof for their claims, but were making them anyway in order to smear me. Because the truth doesn't matter to these fucking losers. Where is... If your so-called friends are okay with you getting dogpiled, they were never your friends. 100%. Valor says it was just to get a scare out of me. They purposely scared me to see if I give a shit. Well, fuck them. Walk away. That's the best choice. It ruined my mental health, and another one of my friends defended them and said they were in the right and I deserved to be punished. They're gonna have to elaborate on that, because fuck that. Let me see if I missed anything else. They used Ukraine as a base of operation to get information on Russia. Yep, more of that. Glenn Clark says, "I'm a Holocaust denier. You can't kill." See, but you can. And the U.S. helped them. So it's less that they were doing it on their own while they were beset on all sides. And it's more that they were, helped by the West so that they could justify their new global order. Like, that's been the case this whole time. Like, I'm not a Holocaust denialist. In fact, I think the Holocaust was an inside job. And I've got all the evidence to prove it. It's sort of like 9/11, where the U.S. immediately blamed somebody else. But the U.S. had their fingerprints on it, too. Those passports didn't survive anything. They were just there because you wanted that to be the story. So, to me, that's what the case is. It's not that they couldn't do it. It's that they were doing it and that they had help. I mean, literally Americans were helping them get the steel necessary to move this stuff into and out of the camps. And Bayer, an American company, literally helped them make their Zyklon B. So, to me, all this means is that America literally engineered a conflict. Smedley Butler was 100% right when he wrote War is a Racket. And the whole thing was engineered by the elites because they needed a way to justify the new American century. They needed a way to justify the creature on Jekyll Island. They needed a way to justify the devil's chessboard. I might watch those things, but I'm not going to recommend them in my words right now because I haven't seen them. So I'm not going to advertise those things, but I'll give them a watch. Just know that, you know, if they're not willing to entertain any of the actual truths, I'm not going to support them. Minty says, fun fact, the former Secretary General of the UN and former President of Austria, Kurt Waldheim, served as an intelligence officer to the Wehrmacht during World War II. Not surprised. I think I heard that too. Andrew Tomaszewska says, Ford made tanks the Nazis first used as well. Yeah, and he was a racist piece of shit who helped screen movies for the Nazis. Disney did as well. Everybody likes to forget that Disney literally collaborated with the Nazis. And then, you know, oh, wow, they made one cartoon where Donald Duck was doing racist stereotypes of Germans. That means that they weren't pro-Nazi. Well, they were. They've been pro-Nazi this whole time, and just handing a medal to a Nazi shouldn't be a surprise to anyone who actually knows the history. So, Valor says, I will try if I can find the image. He also says, basically my punishment was to do shit for the friend who set it up and got people to attack me. Like they wanted me to do good things and favors. These people do not sound like friends. What was this even over? Like, that's what I want to know. But yeah, they wanted people to forget the long history of Nazi support. Like this whole year, they've been trying to say, hey, yeah, you know, we at the ADL or the SPLC or CNN or MSNBC or The Guardian or all these other places that have reliably covered the Azov Battalion and the rise of the far right in Ukraine. Don't listen to what we said. Listen to what we're saying. Minty says, also, Coca-Cola made Fanta as an alternative for their drink and not... Yeah, I made a Fanta is Nazi Coke video maybe a month ago? 2 months, maybe? Valor says, well, they basically set up a group, and the friend group who attacked me claimed they were all high intelligence people, and one of them claimed to be a hacker. Yeah, they weren't. None of these people were hackers. They're not real. And you can discuss things in my chat. The thing is that I disagree. And maybe it's because I haven't seen these things. Maybe it's because I haven't seen this alleged proof. But I do disagree. The Holocaust happened, and it was an inside job. Just like all these other things, all of these other alleged terrible things that happened, yeah, they happened. But the U.S. government was behind a lot of it, and U.S. corporations benefited from it. And it's all a big club, and we ain't in it. That's my stance. Valor says, and one of the people apparently offed one of my friends and started taking over. I don't think that's probably true. But all this stuff sounds like mindless LARPing. I'm not sorry. Like, this sounds like a bunch of kids who want to seem cooler than they are. That's what I'm getting from it. Ninja said, also FDR admired Mussolini and fascism. Yep. Yeah. Like, we're allowed to talk about that with Meloni, this new chick in Italy. But we're not allowed to talk about that with, like, American domestic people. Or the sheer amount of American domestic people who literally admired Hitler. We're not allowed to bring that up. All the positive press. Or not even just Hitler, like OBL. Literally Bin Laden being given positive press. Saddam Hussein. As long as you're an asset, you're with them. Assad. Gaddafi. They loved both of those people until they started to get Pan-African. Now their country needs to be bombed and they need to be assassinated with a knife up the ass. Totally for freedom. Totally not for lithium oil and a lucrative slave market. We believe you. Libya is liberated. We promise. And Assad 100% gassed the people of his own country in a horrific way that they could never actually prove happened. While all these reporters were standing around saying, hey, look at these shells. These shells are exactly the kind of shells that would have contained this poison gas. Let me be here without a mask or protective equipment. Ignore what the OPCW whistleblowers said. Ignore any conflicting reports. Assad is a war criminal. We need action. You know, fucking Tim Osman. Tim Osman is great. He's an American hero. He's a good CIA asset who's been helping us in the region. And oh shit, we need to blame somebody for this war. Let's go blame this guy in the press, and then chase him around while he looks repeatedly different all the time and parties with totally Muslim people with pink-haired strippers and coke. Let's completely regularly change the narrative, and then eventually do a pump and dump where we like, hey, we killed him. We sure did kill him, but we're throwing him in the ocean. You know, we do this so regularly. We can point to all the time. All the time it happened. Oh shit, there's not multiple times. Oh shit, we don't dump people in the ocean that are parts of investigations and international manhunts. Oh shit, that makes us look suspicious. Call anyone who disagrees a traitor. Patriot Act 'em. NDAA 'em. Fucking, that's the way it is. The U.S. supported Saddam and helped them during their war with Iran, but soon decided he had to be rid after he was no longer useful. Yep. The CIA helped Saddam and the Ba'ath Party to power in a coup. Yep. Like, all these things are things that are inconvenient. But they're true. One could almost call them inconvenient truths. Andrew says, what are your thoughts on the idea that Hitler escaped to Argentina? I mean, it's true. Like, rat lines were a massive thing. And to me, that's the reason that you're still finding, like, Nazi shrines in Argentina. They escaped to South America. They rat-lined over there. That's demonstrably true. Getting one more over there who's like the literal leader there, that wouldn't surprise me at all. Like, you know too much about our intelligence. We'll shoot one of your Nazi buddies and claim that you offed yourself. That wouldn't surprise me at all. And to me, it would be more insane to say that this mass asset that was boosted by the West was not escaped, was not rat-lined out of there. The Vatican also assisted them. Yep, yeah. Also, I can get screenshots of the GC and show it maybe. Up to you. But I'll have to observe those before I share them on a stream. So that'll be like another time if we do cover that here, because I have to like look things like this over. But yeah, like yeah, they want you to forget. Now that they have this massive propaganda campaign, they want you to forget all the times they said that the Ukraine like government has a severe Nazi problem. They want you to forget that because it's much easier to just say, "Hey, this isn't a problem." Right-wing violence is only a problem when we can point at Charlottesville or the Oath Keepers. When we can, like, when it's pointed out that thousands of these people that make Charlottesville look like a T-circle, thousands of these people are in a place that we are giving money. No, don't talk about that. Misinformation, Russia, Kremlin stooge, asset Putin. Voter manipulation. That's fucking hilarious, by the way, is that One of the things that they said was voter manipulation with Russia, the Russiagate thing, was they shared information on police brutality. They said, hey, police brutality is bad. Here's the places where police brutality was a problem. Good. Good. Say police brutality is a problem. It's a fucking problem. I don't care who says it. I don't care what nationality they are. I mean, Russian police brutality is also a problem. But the fact that a Russian is saying American police brutality is a problem is not voter manipulation. It's just not. And the fact that it got people to lean one way or another, that's just evidence that one side is kind of more fucked than they want you to think, isn't it? But no, we had to say Russiagate. Minty says, and people wonder why they're yeah, South American neo-Nazis. It's a thing. People can look it up. Yeah, I don't like this revisionism. I don't like the idea that we can't think about all these things that literally happened. But it's true. I have gotten called a... okay, just for bringing up the Disney thing where they literally gave a Nazi a medal, I got called a Putin stooge the other day. By one of these, like, NAFO cucks. Like, that's where we are. And NAFO was literally, like, started by a Nazi. Like, that's just true. So, if these are your enemies, good. Because imagine being friends with the opposite. Holy shit. Like, it's just such a problem. It's such a problem. Let me see if I can find this person too, because like, there's been a lot of stuff that went down today, so I'm gonna have to scroll quite a bit to see this. But basically, this person comes up to me with actually zero evidence that I am a Kremlin, Putin, etc. But they're upset anyway. So let me see if I can find this thread so you can see that. Oh, actually, I'm stupid. I can just go to my own profile. Because it's, like, closer up on there than it is anywhere else. Yeah, it's right over here. Alright. Let me see if I can share my screen. I think I can. I think I've got that set up right. Jeremiah Harding, yeah, there we go. Ace. Alright, cool. So, reminder that the same Disney, which just awarded Nazis medals, puts this stuff in front of some of their content. This program includes negative depictions and or mistreatment of people or cultures. These stereotypes were wrong then and are wrong now. Rather than remove this content, we want to acknowledge its harmful impact, learn from it, and spark conversation to create a more inclusive future together. Disney is committed to creating stories with inspirational and aspirational themes that reflect the rich diversity of the human experience around the globe. To learn more about how stories have impacted society, visit disney.com/storiesmatter. Your video will start. So, if you ask me, they either shouldn't... Oh, well, it's not gonna let me... Oh, okay, alright, yeah, it's doing it. If you ask me, they either shouldn't include this, or they should admit the content is bad enough that they shouldn't have it on the service, accessible to kids. Like, for real, if it's so bad you need a disclaimer, what message does continuing to profit from it send? But let's also be real and say that the content isn't that bad. Didn't need the disclaimer and doesn't then and doesn't now. According to the Facebook post I got this from, this particular disclaimer was on some episodes of DuckTales. DuckTales. Woo! Bigotry. Instead of just realizing... So, this person, Will Civ, said, just awarded Nazis medals. If you have to make these things up, you have no argument. And, like, I just linked this thing and said, except I made nothing up. This is literally a thing that happened. So, this is a Warrior Games thing, right? And it was literally by Disney, you know, the DoD, ESPN, etc., Fisher House, and all these other... And so, this was a thing. Disney literally did this. Jon Stewart literally did this. And I was right, because the person that they gave a medal to, in this case, is the middle guy, who has a Nazi tattoo and came up with an Azov battalion shirt. And used a Ukrainian flag to cover up his arm tattoo, which is a Sonenrad. So, that's the middle guy. He was the heart of the team. And here he is over here, and wow, he's doing Nazi salutes. Because he's a fucking Nazi, and because he regularly participates in what amounts to sports-related propaganda, and they work with right sector, which are Nazis, and they're fucking Nazis. And this is like normal for them. This is so normal for them. That's a Nazi symbol on that flag. And so, I posted coverage from the Hill and the Gray Zone. And I was like, but yeah, these people totally aren't a big deal trying to push for a global movement or anything. And that's not why they're doing this sort of acceptance tour. It couldn't be. And so this person continues saying, you could just say you're a Putin supporter. And I said, why would I? Putin is a murderous, oligarchic, deep-statist fascist who pretends to be a man of the people while living in a palace and jailing political opponents who point that out or anything else out if they're lucky enough to still be alive. I oppose all governments. You? And this person continues, because of course they did. You're just calling the people in Ukraine to defend themselves and their land nutsies, just like him. And I said, I also drink water. I guess staying hydrated must make me a Kremlin stooge, because he does that too. I can't point out the fact that Disney gave a medal to a man with a Sonenrad tattoo and an Azov shirt, or I'll make Twitter user 8675309 mad and get called a foreign asset. Lamau. So there you go. There you have it on that score. That's the kind of thing I have to endure whenever I post about this situation. Literally. Sometimes getting dogpiled by those people. I'm going to keep doing it because it's true, and Americans should know where their money is going and where the power is. Minty says, tell him Walt Disney himself was a Nazi sympathizer. I want to see if this person comes back. Maybe I'll do that on the next time somebody approaches me about this post. Valder says, hey, Romania, my best friend's 051 country. So, yeah, this year was a year to forget all of the previous year's coverage of Ukrainian Nazis. Because if you remember it, you're a Russian sympathizer. I got 9 likes on this fucking bullshit. Good to see, I guess? Sound off in the chat if you're still here listening to my insane rants. But yeah, there's a lot. Also, by the way, for the stuff that like hasn't been gone over in this stream, watch the coverage of 2022 coming out tomorrow on AgoristNexus, because there's going to be coverage there, and that coverage is going to be like a general wrap-up of what happened in 2022, and also a few predictions for 2023 and beyond. But yeah, anything else anybody wants to mention? Because I've got to edit that and upload it tonight, so that's going to be somewhat of a priority. But yeah, if there's something else somebody wants to bring up, feel free. Feel free to like, share, and subscribe, and etc., etc. There's a lot coming. This channel and elsewhere. So, That's the kind of thing I do on a regular basis. I sort of challenge the mainstream. Um, and I'm willing to accept what, like, seems like it makes sense. That's the general thing. So, there's lots more coming in 2023, and a brand new channel, which I made, and also the new channel, which is going to be variety content. If I can get, like, probably $25 more, I'm going to, like, do a 5-pound pizza challenge that I have to do in 30 minutes or less. That's going to be on my variety channel, which is Jeremiah Does Stupid Shit on Camera. I already ate really spicy wings at Buffalo Wild Wings. They have this really high Scoville challenge. So I did that. But I'll be doing a bunch of other stuff because, you know, my fucking city, Spokane, has all of those, like, all of these eating challenges. One of them that I wanted to do is apparently not getting done anymore. But, you know, what is being done, I'll try to do. So here are some links in case anybody wants to throw stuff at the... Well, I guess those aren't going to work. I'm going to delete this message because it's clearly not working. So I'm going to make another fucking message with all these. So basically, this is the kind of content you can come to expect in 2023. Is content that regularly and repeatedly goes against that group, whatever that group is. Like, I'm willing to challenge power in ways that other people aren't, because I want to see consistency, and I want to see people who actually give a shit be raised to the spotlight, rather than all these people who are, like, funded by mega corporations and shit. I still remember the cinnamon challenge. Well, see, but that one's just not good for you. Like, that one can actually cause some organ damage. Especially if you accidentally breathe some of it in. That gets real good on your alveoli. So I'm not going to do that. Because in case I breathe it in, that would mean that I couldn't do normal content for a bit while my lungs heal. So these are all options in case y'all want to throw money at this stuff. But basically, yeah. I'm going to be doing, like, ideally at least 5 vlogs a week. Probably 6. And certainly, like, the weekly stream, because I do one of these streams every Saturday. So it's like that on a normal basis. And I'm also going to be putting essays on a new channel, so follow me on my social media to get access to those as well. Because I'm going to be posting those links on my social media. But like those, I'm going to be posting like one medium length, like high quality essay a week. Like probably one like every 2 weeks to start, and like one really long one at the end of the month. And that'll be how I run it at first. And then when I can pick up steam and when I get enough financial support, especially on Patreon, I can start to move into making a shit ton more of that kind of content. So especially since like I'm gonna move soon into a better place where I can make better content more reliably, and rent is going to increase at that point. So if y'all want to see this continue, Patreon is the best bet. So with that being said, yeah, it's been a wild year. I've been insulted, smeared, lied about, tried to break me down, tried to get all of my associates to walk away, tried to get everything I do crushed and me eliminated from the board because they can't beat me, so they want me destroyed. And this has been coming along with like a mass campaign against like everything I'm affiliated with. And it didn't work. I'm still fucking here. I'm still, you know, being the same aggressively negative conspiratarian asshole that I've always been. And I've decided upon sober reflection to become worse. So that's what 2023 is going to bring. I'm going to make everything worse for the people who tried to make things bad for me. And I'm going to do it with style. And you can trust me. I'm in a doctor's shirt. What are some good things that happened? Okay, so, good things. I started to go for more runs, which has been helping my mental health significantly. Just getting out and accessing more of the city I'm in. Um, I'm not going to say much about this, but you've got that project you're working on, and I hope that thrives, Earth Nerd. Um, when it actually launches, I'll be able to say more about it, but I don't want to give anything away in case you're keeping some stuff under wraps. So that happened. I got server growth, even though there were a bunch of people who left because they couldn't take the, accountability, take an ethical community who is there for actually good reasons. So, um, like, I've seen growth. I've got an email newsletter now, which I'm going to have to move because on a bad news front, review is shutting down apparently. So I'm going to have to move that, which is another reason I need Patreon subs, is so that I can afford a monthly mailbox. That'll be a thing that I'm doing, because that way I can do a mail list off a platform that's not Review. The reason I was using Review is because it didn't require you to use your email. So with that in mind, anyone who wants to see my email newsletter be a regular thing, I'm really grinding hard to make that a normal thing with my with a new mailbox. And if I do that, I also have then a business address. So there's a lot of stuff that's gonna take a spike. What I'm honestly thinking of is if I can get enough support that I can start that mailbox, the thing that I'll probably start is a Substack. And that way I'll have my own fucking Substack that I can start to charge people for, and make money off of. And also I'll have a free version of it for all the stuff that I say, more informally. But, there'll be a paid version of it with some pretty good insight. That I still won't mind people forwarding, by the way, because I don't believe in IP. But that'll be a way to sort of get exclusivity in that sort of way. But, good things, doing regular D&D with some friends, getting more fit than ever. There's lots and lots of, things in the works that could massively increase my income. We'll see. And ultimately, I can't not say it, that this was the year of Sonic. I got to see the second Sonic movie in theaters, and it was great. And there was Sonic Prime, and it was great. And there was a new Sonic game, and it was great. And yeah, I'm pretty stoked about the future of the franchise. And I've got to always plug that at least somewhat, because he's looking at me on my desk. This is always staring at me, saying, "You're not working fast enough. You need to do more. Nothing starts until you take action." So, I've always got to plug the franchise. But with that in mind, yeah, there's a lot of good stuff that has happened. A lot of it's in the background, a lot of that sort of thing. But there's going to be some stuff that gets revealed next year. Oh, also, I have an IMDb page now, and I was recently featured in a BuzzFeed article. I'm going to laugh so fucking hard if the mainstream starts to platform me. And I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen, but I'm in a BuzzFeed motherfucking article now. Because they, I think, mistook one of my posts as just being about travel, and they didn't check and make sure that it was about, conspiracy theories. So, yeah. Either way, share, and subscribe. Feel free to sub to my Patreon, or any of the other links there are also usable for supporting my content. And with that being said, 2023 is going to be a banner year for this sort of thing. So, and also, before I go, because I was about to sign off, I guess I don't talk about this enough. I do a regular weekly podcast at AgoristNexus. So y'all can sub to that podcast if you want. There was somebody who's been like waiting for more regular content, more long form stuff, and I'm like, I do a podcast, right? With like at least one episode a week and sometimes 2 or 3. And he's like, podcast? So I guess I didn't do a good enough fucking job of like advertising that. But yeah, there's a podcast. So AgoristNexus.com podcast. There's lots of stuff. Lots of stuff. And of course, there's all the things in the description like Liberty Professionals. If you want your house scanned for bugs, if you want to help, if you want help with your security, if you want general help with, you know, fucking the security culture in your business or your home or your life in general, you can hit him up because he's a private investigator and he knows where to find the cracks. If you also just need private investigation, he can do that. He's board certified. If you need papers served, he can do that. But like his most lucrative thing is going to be like, process serving. So I want to make that clear and say that he can help you, or sorry, not process serving, security consultation. So he can help you with that. He's a longtime supporter and he's the only current sponsor of this show. So yeah, there's that. And you can go there by libertyprofessionals.com and get your security consultation today. And thanks to all of the people who have been here for me this year, all of the people who have donated and supported, all of the people who are there for me, because with literally thousands of people a year attacking you, it can eat away. And there have been probably multiple times when I've considered giving up in one way or another. But I'm not going to. I can't let these people win. So all of the people that didn't give up on me and that let me keep doing this stuff and keep shouting into the void, thank you. And I'll try not to fuck it up. That's my message. Because with regularly thousands of people coming after me, any help I can get is appreciated. Oftentimes, it feels kind of lonely up here. So, thank you to all the people who didn't walk away, who didn't give up, and who are willing to stand by somebody who actually gives a shit, and give a shit yourself. It's rare. And it is seen and it is appreciated. So, with that being said, here's to not fucking it up. Smash the fucking state.